Hello, hello, welcome to another Crazy Ewok stream. Yes. We are back in Genshin Impact today. And we are going to continue with the story. What happened? Oh yeah. Columbina, I guess Columbina has been stuck in a weird dimension for a while. She somehow opened a dimension to save us. And in that dimension, they say time flows backwards, but that's not really the case. The moments seem to be happening backwards, because when she actually goes into each moment, they still play out like normal. But then it's just that every time she goes to another moment, it's an event that happened before, like further back in time. But anyway, Columbina is lost in a realm, and also when we encountered, I tried to explore this area, but I didn't have a whole lot of time. So the only thing I was able to do was essentially teleport here, unlock this, walked here on this bridge, and then I got overwhelmed with like all this new like mechanics and tutorials that they like shoved in my face. So there's this one, this one, this one, this one. Not that one though. So they all just kind of like came back one after another. They all sound like they're relatively the same things, but just slightly different in every way. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this right now. And I kind of like gave up. But anyway, yeah, we came here to try and confront the doctor, because actually no, I think we're trying to meet up with or catch up with Marionette and the Knave. Or I guess Sandrone and Arlecchino. But then the doctor defeated us, I guess. We tried to fight against him. And before we can escape... Did we try to escape? I think we were trying to escape. The doctor captured our traveler in a box, and somehow she woke up in a weird realm where she's seeing weird memories. Ooh, there's a little cool thing here. What does that mean? It's a little like marking here pointing at this little thing. Interesting. Is there any other markings like that on the map? That's the first I've seen on this map, at least. We've kind of seen it in maps previously, in some of the more temporary event maps. But yeah, so also Traveler is trapped in a weird realm as well. So the rest of the crew here, now they've split off trying to figure out three things. There's like a field apparently that got applied here, and our people, the characters in the story, think that if they try to leave this area, something bad would happen to them, so they're not leaving. But at the same time, they're trying to get people to evacuate, because there's going to be a reckoning here pretty soon, because the doctor has 2 real moon marrows and also successfully created a fake one, so he's like triple moon marrow strong. And we have a group trying to find Columbina, and we have a group trying to find Traveler, and Paimon is super sad, and we don't want her to be sad. So yeah, I think this is where we're at. If I go back into the story here, I believe we play as Sandrone. Well, not really Sandrone. We play as her robot. So yeah, let's go back. I did some of this in the end of last stream, so there's gonna be a bit of repeat, but I won't go as crazy.
Search keyword world formula and bring me all relevant books.
Yes, Mrs. Yes, Master. So yeah, we play as this giant robot guy. There's a lot of reading here, which I kind of don't like. So I actually went and read all these out loud, and it was actually kind of mind-numbing. It wasn't really anything interesting, unfortunately. But keyword world formula located. I'm thinking there's probably going to be more reading. It looks like this is going to be a section where they try to dump a lot of lore on you. Oh, we're at what's the bar called? I don't remember what the bar is called. The Tailwind? No, that's not it. That's the name of
Let's see.
The airship
This
in
one
Final Fantasy
is
VII or something like that, right?
on Tonki's sermon dictation concerning the apocalypse. I believe that the correct term for this is Fortuna. This was an ancient Romorian technology, a wisdom unparalleled. I never imagined that Romorian ideas would be so similar to the diagram I have named, the world formula.
What?
This is strong evidence that human civilization should gradually shed possibilities as it continues to explore and evolve. The end of humankind may well be upon us right now. The sparks of civilization shall run out, unless we consider introducing variables from outside the system.
We're really zoomed into her mouth there. Nope, that doesn't look good.
Variables. Surely that can only mean one thing. Descenders? Dottore likely captured the Traveler because of her descender status. But the Three Moons' authority comes from the world itself. Why would Dottore need anything beyond that? Where does this variable factor in? The world formula calculates the fate of an entire world. Introducing a variable would therefore give us...
Dun dun dun. Something. That's something. I am Polonia? Plutonia? What was my...
Polonia.
Polonia.
Search keyword pathway and bring me all relevant books.
Affirmative. Roger. Roger. Okay. That's not a whole lot of like stuff in total to be looking at, but at the same time reading it all is gonna take a very long time. A research notes of Master Ruggiero about the Golden Troop. Comparative studies have been conducted on the surviving ruins of ancient orders from across the land. While they all had different names, the scripts and images left behind support the conclusion that they share the same origin. Ancient scholars believe that all arcane arts originated from a pre-Rumerian civilization, a belief that now seems to be much more than mere speculation. Fortuna seems to be the name of a symphony. Rumerian musicians call it the musica mundana, or the music of origin. In their eyes, the rise and fall of civilizations, as well as the fates of mortals, are all orchestrated by the movement of a symphony. And oh, this is like all the quests that we've been doing. We went into that like place in Fontaine with all the music people and the huge like knights. You use Geo to destroy their shields, and they hit really hard, and we had to swim a bunch as a giant whale. I don't know, I don't remember exactly what that story is about, kind of skipped through it. And when the civilization perishes, a new one is always born in its wake. Their philosophical system is complex and enigmatic, bearing almost no relation to modern Fontaine's natural philosophy. However, this is hardly surprising. According to historical records, after Rumeria was brought to ruin, the refugees fell under a lock knight Irenaeus. Yeah, the something Irenaeus was like the big leader there or something like that, right? They unwillingly forsook their ancient faith, tongues, and writings, embracing a life of devotion to the gods of our forebears once had. I hinted at the matter to the Golden Hunter in an oblique way, since the Marasashe hunters who first pledged themselves to his cause were all descendants of the Lock Knights. Praising the benevolence of Irenaeus seemed like the safest approach, and inquired about his knowledge of natural philosophy from the era. He was silent for about half a minute, then told me not to probe too deeply into those ancient philosophies, saying there was a reason they had been forgotten. Still, as a gesture of gratitude, the Golden Hunter was willing to tell me the name of these parts. Is the Golden Hunter our brother? Maybe not. And then we have a picture of something. The seal of chimical marriage? According to him, this symbol is even older than the Rumerian civilization itself, and was once of the gifts bestowed upon King Remus by the Golden Bee. There's a lot of characters I don't know. Is King Remus actually the king and Irenaeus is just the name of that area? I remember there was a cat involved too for some reason. What exactly those were remains unclear. The rise and fall of empires and civilizations, the ascensions of mortals, and the emanation of light. What is this? Even dreams of surpassing the gods. What is this? All of these can be represented by this formula. I cannot understand it at all. He declined to elaborate, and so I can only record these matters here as they were told. Is my face covering anything? No, it's not. Told to me in the hopes that those who come after might one day decipher their meaning. Keyword not located. This one. Automineki sermon dictations, explications on the chemical marriage. Oh man, so many words. So many weird words. Fundamentally, what the ancient orders designated as marriage was, in essence, an interpenetration of ontologically distinct or what? Oh my goodness. Technically, man, so many words. Those are words. I don't know what they mean, but they're words. As you can see, it is a magic set in motion by the three particles above the kingdom, yet its metaphysical origin lies in the emanations of the four particles beneath the firmament. The alchemists of Conrea are prone to disregard metaphysical sentiments and affects, pursuing instead the gold of the ignorant within the material world. It is for this reason that the crude inquiry cannot be compared to the great undertaking we are to achieve today, one that is founded upon ancient Rumerian style theory. 3 pertains to appearance, while 4 pertains to the intrinsic. 7, obtained through their overlap, constitutes the number of paths for vertical transcendence. We designate this process of overlap as marriage, for the union of the two through a mediating medium is akin to the matrimonial covenant of those bound in mutual love. Oh, we got pathway here. Observe and compute the pathway. Is this quote in these quotes, since I do like computer programming as a job, these quotes like freak me out, because then this quote ends this quote, and then if you're trying to code again, it doesn't think of this as like a string anymore. Who's watching this is a computer programmer who knows how to code and can relate to that. And normally what you're supposed to do is either like use single quotes so that the coding language would know, or the interpreter, I guess, will know what you actually mean, or just like concatenate a bunch of lines together and avoid using like quotes like this. But like reading, we can kind of understand this quote and this quote is paired up, and this quote and this quote is paired up. Anyway, observe and compute the pathway displayed in the guidance diagram. Deconstructing and reversing its effect could generate potential ideas. Nevertheless, there is one thing everyone must keep in mind. Solve the first half of the equation, leave the second unattacked, and you have all in the clear light and some, though not all, in the dark. This is not because they possess any sanctity that renders them untouchable, but because they offer no benefit whatsoever to the world formula. Only mediocre minds, foolish beyond a certain measure, would actively seek to trespass upon such prohibitions, because in the eyes of the ignorant, taboo and precious are semantically identical. They fail to recognize that in most cases, taboo, like convention, lack merit for deeper inquiry. Take heed. What we speak of is the act of overlaying your dreams upon the dreams of gods, of overlaying your laws, your will, and the starry sky upon ineffable sacrifices and despair. We do not speak of following emanations to achieve ascensions to the ranks of God. This is a base dream doomed to perish within an eggshell. What I aim to teach you all is the principle of transcendence, the infinite expanse, and the innumerable stars within it. You, too, must act in this manner, unbound by any constraint, To choose division for the sake of convergence is the necessary path of marriage. At its core, magic is the science and art of affecting change according to the consciousness. Marriage is the instrument through which the art is realized. It is neither the subject that creates art nor the object that art is created upon. The subject is always and can only be ever be. Consciousness itself, one who is free from the weakness of consciousness, bows neither to God nor death. This is like, they're using weird words and stuff, but it's kind of like some philosophy of media, right? Like, if you think about medium in which like communication and art is created, there's like the artist and then there's the art, right? But then the medium in which the art is created on, there's like a whole like, I don't know, metaphysical thing going on. Like, what was it? There was like a philosopher, McLuhan, I think, was saying like the medium is the message when it comes to like a lot of these social media, social internet, even like radio and television. Like the medium itself is also like a context to the message or the art or the communication or the some like expression of the humanism being displayed. So like, what's a good example of this? I can't really think of one off of my top of my head, but like, I guess one that I can think of that might not be a really good example, but it's kind of like, that can kind of illustrate what I'm trying to say is like, when you watch a YouTube video of a YouTuber crying, a lot of people might just go like, oh, this person is sad, and then it doesn't really go that much further. This person is sad about something, and that's why this YouTuber is crying. But then to people who like kind of knows the process of making YouTube videos and stuff, and it's like they clearly edited their video, right? And if they're like they made a conscious choice to leave the crying in the video, or maybe you can even think maybe they're not that, maybe the entire video was just like recorded like raw, and it's just like from start to finish they didn't do any editing to kind of try to keep the authenticity of the moment as much as possible. So like the medium of watching a YouTube video on the internet brings different contexts to the conversation or to the I don't know the whole like interaction. If you and this YouTuber were like together in real life and talking about something and the YouTuber cries, that's like different than if you're watching a video with like this medium in the middle. That's kind of like a lot of the media theories, I guess. I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly, but yeah, you can think of it like, oh, this, or a lot of things get revealed that isn't like directly spoken of when there's like a medium involved. Just like in my example of YouTuber crying, it's like, did they do that on purpose? Did they leave that in on purpose? Do they just not have the editing skills to get rid of it? Or trying to edit it so it's more concise to the point? Are they trying to like, I don't know, use the crying to get more sympathy? Are they trying to use the crying like, or maybe like you see a YouTuber talking about some event, and you can see like their eyes are like watering and they're about to get emotional, and then you see a cut, and they go back. And then it goes back to the point of the talking, and you're like, oh, they cut out, it looks like they might have cut out some crying. What does that imply? What was that, like a conscious choice to make it so that the video is more to the point and it's like trying not to like try not to be like beg for sympathies or trying to like farm for sympathy and stuff? And it's like the medium in and of itself, it's like there's like a whole like conversation there. And a lot of times people who are not media savvy, they might just take what people say at face value, or they don't think about too deeply. But then in today's world, it's like being media literate is actually pretty important. Otherwise, it's like really easy for others to like manipulate people. So yeah, it's like one of the things like they don't teach in schools, I guess. I don't even, actually, I've been in school for a while. Maybe they do teach media literacy in school. I don't know. But yeah, this whole thing kind of reminds me a lot about the weird like philosophies and theories behind media, except they just kind of like use a bunch of weird words. Instead of like media, it's like magics or whatever, or marriage. Instead of like the artist and the art or whatever. Anyway, that's a little bit of a rant that I'm probably not really qualified to talk about too much. Anyway, I still want to read the other two though. Ancient Lock. It seems the ordinary Dari machine, I don't know what the Dari machine is, can no longer satisfy him. As a result, the director used national resources to obtain something truly horrifying. Rumor has it that someone was nearly killed. I hope this will help him achieve his research objective. They even got him some rare Dari mechanical parts being studied by Sumeru researchers as part of the package. Things went out of control for a third time. Gulotin, oh, this is still about the like Elaine and those people, right? May be willing to risk his own life, but that doesn't mean the rest of us feel the same. I came up with an emergency damage control strategy, and I hope we won't need to use it before he finishes his kinematics research. However, given his personality, it seems unlikely that he'll ever truly complete that research. It seems that his experiments into machines were intended to create a mechanical dog. As oh, we had a whole quest chain with a mechanical dog that's like kind of sentient and intelligent. As proof of his accomplishments in kinematics and material science, it's actually a good idea and could be showcased in the city, and the creatures are much more personal and likable compared to the automated turrets next door. At least he lived long enough to be poached by the Murashause hunters. It wasn't easy for us to survive this long either. But what will we do with this blasted crazy killing machine that can repair itself? Whatever, that's a problem for future generations. Okay, are we gonna have to fight against them? Or is this something that we already fought against? A machine that can repair itself? Keyword not located. Ancient Lock, Jacob Ingold. Anyway, when it comes down to it, our research directions are different, so I applied for a new research lab with the director. But there's nothing for it anyway. Elaine is incredibly intelligent, but he only trusts himself and doesn't trust other observants or accomplishments unless he reaches the same conclusions through his own calculations. Well, it's okay, since Elaine is making the world a better place in its own way. I trust him, because this is the world that Anne lives in. Even though the Institute is full of people, I don't have many friends besides Carter. It feels like everyone kind of dislikes us. Renee managed to acquire something powerful to research. Apparently these appeared after the disaster and are very dangerous for most people. But I feel okay. Maybe my institution really has gotten a lot better, or constitution has gotten a lot better. I helped Renee out. When I visited him, I found out that he also attended Narzizenkruz Institute. We didn't tell him about the vice director abandoning us, or it would have made him sad. If only we could have helped him, just like I was helped. After discussing it with Renee, he finally agreed to give it a try. He said, since it's dangerous, everything needs to be made clear to Carter, and he must make the judgment himself, as it concerns his own life, but it is successful, and he'll survive just like I did. The thing about like this whole like Elaine, Jacob, Renee, and was it Emma or something? I don't remember the girl's name. Or is Renee the girl? No, I don't think so. Or Anne's the girl. Yeah, she turned into or no, she didn't turn to him, but there was a whatever spirit that named herself Anne as well, right? That we kind of hung out with when we were in Fontaine. Like this whole story and the continuation of it in these text form is like not very good, I feel like. And it's like the whole story on its own wasn't all that interesting, so like them continuing it is a little bit weird. And it's all really surrounding a bunch of characters that was like alive in the past, right? So I don't know. I feel like this kind of stuff would have been nice to put in a world quest chain, but sticking it in an Archon quest is like the Archon quest in and of itself is already so bloated as it is, and then sticking it in here just to bloat it some more feels like not good in my mind. Okay, we can get out of here. Hey, I am robot. Here is book for you, lady. M'lady.
Otonki Sermon Dictation. Explications on the Chemical Marriage. These titles are pretty esoteric.
That's what I said.
Observe and compute the pathway displayed in the guidance diagram. Deconstructing and reversing its effects could generate potential ideas. So, it's one of Renee's draft lectures. Deconstructing the pathway. I suppose that could lead to a breakthrough.
Oh, she wrote down some stuff. Yeah, that's stuff. That's something.
This is so long. This guy sure loves showing off his knowledge.
Yes, madam. M'lady.
Columbina. Search keyword tree model and bring me all relevant books.
Tree bottle, affirmative. I will bring you what I find. Please wait. Oh, there's 5 this time. Let's go left to right. The history of the decline and fall of Rumuria, collected edition. The oceans gave birth to all, yet but yet also devoured everything. Legend has it that in the first era, the earliest people were self-supporting in their virtue, needing no laws or authorities. The envoys of the heavenly city walked the earth. With their guidance, the people enjoyed enduring peace, prosperity, and abundance from the ancient days. This heaven-blessed reign lasted countless generations until people grew tired of their inscrutable eternity. Their offspring ceased to listen to the oracles. Instead, they desired things never promised to them by the divine. Trying to break free from their fate, enraged by their behavior, heaven sent gigantic waves to smash the settler cities. 100 days of rain came afterwards, and the roaring tides drowned all sin and irrigation, and thus were the early peoples brought to an end. When the tide receded and the earth was revealed again, no cities nor civilizations now stood above the high waters. This is like some Legend of Zelda Wind Waker shit. Actually, no, Wind Waker got flooded because I don't remember what was the origins of Hyrule being flooded for Wind Waker, but there was a reason. Survivors and the newborns alike lived amidst the forests and rivers, shorn of... Shorn? What does shorn mean? Of all knowledge and wisdom. Like, they were taken away all their stuff. Human lives were no different from those of wild animals on the earth or in the sea, driven on by the laws of nature, muddling through time with neither beginning nor end. Untold years passed, the throne of Gurabad was established and overturned in the far south, and the noble kindred of the east once reached the rim of the high waters. All while our ancestors remained bound by ignorance and superstition. Civilization and order were finally restored to the land named Fontaine, the day the great King Remus descended upon Mirapis in his golden fortuna. He taught people how to farm and raise crops in the land, and built temples and cities with giant rocks to house the people. Most importantly, it was he who spread the beauty of magic and art, or music and art, which differentiated humans from other living things, causing them to see themselves as masters of all things. With his immortal fleet, Remus conquered all the islands on the high waters. Even the great dragon beneath the abyssal depths submitted to his power. Those were the best days since the end of earliest people, and eternal prosperity seemed to so near at hand. The god, king, and his people indulged in the sweet dreams of carefree lives and fantasies of never-ending progress. However, the seers prophesied discord. The greatest empire will face the most utter destruction, and this is Fortuna. Thus did the god king derive the primordial plan from the 7-day rotation and the flowing wind of sea and land, and composed a harmonious symphony of prosperity. He believed that so long as all the cities echoed with his greatest of songs, they would escape the judgment of fate, and at last reach the lands of eternal bliss. But thusly do the ancient writers concur. Oceans will rise, emperors will fall, and the only constant is change. There's extra pages? Was there other pages in the other ones as well? Oh no. Greatness and glory unto Rumuria and its immortal ruler. Remus, king of all under heavens and universal harmost. Today, the glamour and luxury of the bygone eternal city is beyond the imagination of even the most knowledgeable scholars. As you sailed past the ocean pillars, along the royal fairways to the giant port, playing host to Fortuna, the imperial ship, you would have first seen a lofty tower. The Tower of Rumeria was not built to receive heavenly oracles, but to guide ships traveling between islands in the high waters. It is said that the tower stood at the border of reality and dreams. Even if sailors were to be lured into slumber by sirens, they could follow the sound of the bells to break through the mists and find their way to Rumeria, continuing along the royal fairway leading to Machimos, where the brave Rumerian warriors lived. The grand temples and arenas were built with giant carved rocks to commemorate the city's glory and victory. The solid and towering walls were decorated with glaze and gold. Bronze and marble statues arrayed the land, and gold, spices, and specialties from the world over piled up in the markets. Traveling through Machimos, you would arrive at Capitolium, the center of Rumeria, overflowing with delightful aromas and beautiful melodies. It was a paradise for artists, where only the most outstanding intellectuals and musicians were allowed. Even among them, however, only a small fraction enjoyed the privilege of serving the God King. Here, all the theaters and palaces were established in shapes most harmonious, their beams and domes adorned with the most sumptuous and intricate carvings, and centered on a golden palace of towering copper pillars. The king, resting peacefully at the heart of the palace, listened closely to every melody and every note coming from every corner of the empire. Upon hearing any discord, the God King would correct it immediately with a pluck of his strings, bringing perfection to the symphony of his empire. To keep all the people upon the high water from destroying the symphony of universal harmony, King Remus promoted 4 humans of great capability to high post. He shared his power and authority with them, making them his partners in governance, the harmos of all for all cities, to eliminate all discordant sounds, to spread the harmonious symphony throughout the world. He built far-reaching fairways, which conveyed the melodies as never-ending ripples from Capitolium to every corners that sat above the high waters. Yet fate's decree was not for even such as gods to defy, and to even attempt to escape destined judgment was a mortal sin. Amongst the God King's sins, the most terrible was the attempt to pass power that should have been reserved for the godly domain to humans. Thus, this power and status led to the corruption and decadence, leading to violence and revolts. Such is fate's cunning that it uses the very power that rebel against to its own end. When the day of destiny arrived, Remuria, the grand immortal city, faced an inevitable end. Today, the God King's melody is played only in Capitolium, and his mighty reign has ended. Thusly do the ancient writers concur. Oceans will rise, empires will fall, and the only constant is change. Humans, in their naivete, once believed that the reign of the King Remus and his eternal city would surpass time and fate to last thousands of years, just like the giant rocks comprising the ringed ritual sites. Until that day when the earth collapsed all at once, the tall tower was uprooted and drowned in the titanic waves alongside the great hall of pillars. Until that day when the royal fairways and temples were reduced to ruin, and the city, along with its residents, warriors, intellectuals, nobles, and even the golden palace, as glamorous as the shining sun, fell into a chasm of eternal darkness. That was the moment when the absurdity of their eternity finally dawned on them. This kind of eternity was like Raiden Shogun's thing, right? But this is talking about like Fontaine. Glory to our noble navigator, the ruler of rivers and seas and the queen of all waters. May she defend the law, and may her reign be long. Peace be upon all the realms of Fontaine and all the people under the heavens. When the royal city collapsed, the great power shattered, and the people above the high waters were perched on the precipice of barbarism and annihilation. It was our noble queen who settled, and conflicts between the tribes. Around the flowing springs, we established cities new and started a world guided by laws that has endured to this day. The tragedy of Rumeria occurred merely a century ago, but its history has already become concealed in legends and superstition. This does partly come down to the fatal catastrophe that destroyed it. So ruthless and swift was the disaster that all the researchers and literature capable of passing down said knowledge now sleeps beneath the waters with the eternal city. Another key reason is the purposeful distortions created by the mysterious researchers who claim to be descendants of Rumeria. My job is to extract and reproduce the true, essential shape of this magnificent ancient civilization with the universal rationality of history. In certain folklore that exists today, even the greatest of ancient scholars have been painted as soul-stealing magisters who entrapped mortal spirits within specially made magical golems, binding them into service. To be sure, the Rumerians did make such terrifying golems, which to this day may be found ruined out in the wild, but this may not be blamed upon the moral degenerations that came upon them in Rumeria's later days. Its people had forsaken their noble duties and embraced hedonism and debauchery, accepting the violence they inflicted on others, and thus were they also violently destroyed. Just as the ancient writers concur, oceans will rise, emperors will fall, and the only constant is change. Okay. Keyword not located. This one. The biography of Guillotine Deluxe Edition. Chapter 7, Guillotine in his later years. No one can know the root cause of every incident in the world. Humans are neither wise enough to predict the future nor able to stop unfortunate accidents from occurring. It's a shame. There's nothing more to say. Alain Guillotine, in response to a question about his early years from Nellie Cochrane, chief editor of the Steambird. After retiring from the Fontaine Research Institute, Guillotine declined all invitations from the Palais Memoria and civic organizations from the court of Fontaine. Instead, he withdrew to the Bureau region countryside, living in near total isolation from society. Notwithstanding, even prior to this, the reclusive old man had never formed any deep connections with others. If we were to take Madame Nilly Cochrane at her word, then Elaine Guillotine was at heart a lonely shut-in, always burdened by a profound sense of insecurity. It was for this reason that he maintained a detached attitude towards others, as if by pretending to be imperceptive, he could hide the keen sensitivities of his spirit. He could not ease his own pain, nor share it with anyone. All he could do was enclose it like a pearl within the shell of his heart, shaping and polishing it with his very flesh and blood. Of course, Guillotine's students would not accept such claims, dismissing them as attention-seeking nonsense and nothing more than a smear on their master's reputation. This was the main reason why Rogier Cotes, the third director of the Fontaine Research Institute, filed a lawsuit against the Steambird. He never employed any servants to tend to his daily needs. There were rumors that in his youth he had created a mechanical device capable of independent thought and had used it to assist him in his work with Marianne Guillotine and the Maréchal Phantom. What is the Maréchal Phantom again? That rings a bell, but I don't remember what it was all about. Is that a place? No. Yeah, it is a place, right? Maréchal Phantom is a place, right? As a result, he had no need for servants. He only needed to create more of the same device. However, such claims were clearly at odds with the facts. The personal effects that Guillotine left behind after his death included nothing of this nature, and so-called mechanical devices capable of independent thought are entirely inconsistent with the ideas he expressed in his manuscripts, as he wrote in Hierarchical Calculation Machines and Intelligence. The real question isn't whether machines can think, but whether humans can. Fontaine, Natural Philosophy and Engineering Science Press, 3rd edition, section 13, page 5. Oh my goodness, they're citing imaginary research. But yeah, this is like what people are talking about in AI, right? Like people say, oh, AI can't do what humans can do, but really, if you think about it, if a human can do it, and human just has like a brain, right? And the brain is just like a really complex biological computer. So if a human can do it, then a human can figure out how to make an AI do stuff as well, right? Eventually. But the crazy thing is that it takes AI a lot of energy, or I guess maybe not, maybe just, I don't know, like humans seems to have a really efficient energy-wise brain, right? But who knows exactly the numbers of like calories or gigajoules or whatever that it takes for a human thought. And comparing it to like AI, large language models coming up with things as well. Anyway, we have every reason to believe that whatever contraptions Gillitin crafted in his workshop in his later years were deliberately destroyed long ago. After all, it is hardly uncommon for an engineer to discard their designs. Popular fiction has offered many flights of fancies about the contraptions, yet all such tales contradict the surviving evidence. Nonetheless, we must recognize that as a cultural symbol, Elaine Gillitin's posthumous work has been instrumental in stirring the imagination of the young. Keyword not located. This one. Irrelevant mechanical blueprint. Keyword not located. Oh, thank goodness. That was now another thing to read. Time Trekkers Collected Edition. This is a story from many years ago. After the evening banquet, Miss Aviva, who today would be Lady Nenonin? Oh man. Miss Aviva, who today would be Lady Nenonin, was, as always, theatrically grousing to us about the all too swift march of science. Though her grasp on engineering is even less firm than her knowledge, the Watatsumi Island's soil quality, and of course she knows nothing about the latter either. But self-proclaimed interest in engineering was in vogue among some ladies and gentlemen at the time. So she's just this lady's super ignorant, but she pretends she knows everything. This thing also has 3 pages. Our ancestors had already conquered this land thousands of years ago, she said as she cleared her throat, twirling her jade-plumed and blue gem-encrusted folding fan while devouring in vain to wear a visage of despondency. Man, all these complicated words. And a few hundred years ago, they conquered the oceans with ease using new diving equipment. Today, some noble young folk have suddenly got it in their heads to use a so-termed gravimeter to break free from the Earth's shackle and conquer the skies. And surely I fear their dreams may yet become reality in the near future. Indeed, it is just as you say, humans, what a mighty and energetic species. With such great wisdom, no matter the circumstances, humans ever seek to change their living conditions under unimaginable passion. The Steambird editor immediately opined, in truth, when it comes to mechanical engineering and theory, humanity is already on par with the creator. They have conquered most of the natural world, and by their will, they can shape their world anew. That's not what I meant to say, Miss Avia said with an affected sigh. Those... Viva. I keep saying that name wrong. Those distant and dark unknown continents, those ruins hidden deep beneath the seas, all the romantic exploration and trailblazing, such great achievements, that which has put the glorious achievements of our sciences and reasoning on full display, have all but become lost to our civilization. Our forebears reached too high and achieved too much, leaving too little for us to explore or conquer. Could there be a sadder fate to befall those ladies and gentlemen amongst us who were born to crave the exploration of the unknown? Here, her pretentious invocation of a legendary king Argiadae? Legendary king Argiadae's word seemed an attempt to prove how truly this state of affairs hurt her. However, everyone simply sat around lazily, at most giving polite nods. Lady L lightly yawned. Seeing how no one answered, Miss Aviva's enthusiasm faded and she proceeded to switch the topic to the next week's ball. This was evidently a more popular topic, and the stiff atmosphere once again grew lively. Monsieur Ratar was just about to regale us with a tale he had heard in Sumeru regarding a tower, a mage, and a glass ball. But before he could begin, Mr. Zurich, who had remained silent until now, interrupted. "Good, Miss Aviva, the things you said certainly left an impression to me." He lit a cigarette. "However, you need not worry. There is still one space that has yet to be subdued by humanity. Indeed, if the required techniques do not emerge, I fear it will never be." "Where's that?" Ratar asked, a sullen look on his face. He had been so very confident about his monkey story, after all. "Time." The room fell silent momentarily before all present broke out into laughter. "What prosperous talk," Dr. Rayner declared, trying not to laugh. "Firstly, how can time be considered a part of space? Can you separate yourself from time and exist independently in space alone? What do you mean?" "I mean to, at this moment, still be speaking to me, and in the next disappear without a trace. Is this possible?" He waited for a moment, as if waiting for the others to think. Obviously, anyone with the capacity for rigorous thought would know for certain that, much like length, width, and height, time is also a dimension of space. As such, it is a part of nature and can thus be conquered. Utterly preposterous, the doctor... The doctor? Ooh, are we talking about the doctor? But this is not a capital D, so this is just a doctor, right? The doctor muttered, but did not refute the statement. "I have been involved in research of this sort for some time," he continued. Oh, it might be actually the doctor, because he trapped us in some like weird time thing, right? Where he's like God. Or he trapped the traveler. "And I have come up with a machine that can allow people to travel through time as they please. This machine will be ready in 2 months. At that time, Miss Aviva, I invite you and all the ladies and gentlemen present here to my workshop to bear witness to humanity's next great achievement, the conquest of time." Miss Aviva did not speak. In fact, from her expression, our noble friend did not understand Miss Zurich's words at all. 2 months later, we, the Steambird editor, the doctor, Mr. Revilo Oliver, and others who had attended that evening banquet, came to Zurich's workshop. Okay, the guy's name's Zurich, so it's not the doctor, right? As agreed, Miss Aviva was not there, for she never had much interest in such things, but instead found more meaning in attending a social ball at Salon Caritat. Surprisingly, Zurich has grown older and more frail in just 2 months. In the dim light of the lamp, his once enthusiastic, arrogant expression has hardened into something indifferent and solemn, almost like the emaciated ascetics of Sumeru. He welcomed us to take our seats, speaking in a calm tone. "Well then, how is your plan to conquer time progressing?" the Steambird editor asked directly. "Where is the time machine you spoke of?" Zurich did not reply. Instead, he pointed to the desk next to him. Our gazes followed, and in the middle of that table was a gold-plated whale-shaped model airship about the size of a small clock. Even a non-professional eye could readily discern that the model was of exquisite craftsmanship. Beneath its clear crystal shell, an indistinguishable and formless color flowed ever so slowly, glowing faintly in the lampshade's shadow. "So," the doctor said, "it took you 2 months to make this little toy that would amaze even Lapate's artisan?" "It certainly looks like nothing special," Zurich said, an inscrutable emotion shining in his eyes that could almost be called pity. "But this is simply a projection the object has left in this moment, just as one can only see a thin line when viewing paper from the side." Blithering nonsense. For some reason, Zurich did not refute that statement, merely asking us in a calm tone to hear him out concerning his time travel experiences. We agreed, and so he began to tell the story I shall now relate below, without interruption from beginning to end. For all of you, it was 2 months ago when I first told you of the idea of time machine. Similarly, it must have been a week ago when I finished constructing said device and stepped into it, initiating the very first instance of time travel in human history. The strange sensation that came over me as I traveled through time are beyond words, just as there are no words with which one can impress the star's brightness upon a blind person. About 20 minutes after this, though describing time travel by using subjective time is quite meaningless, the machine ceased operation. I looked about me then and realized that I was in a Remurian imperial settlement. The grand temples and the arenas carved of titanic stone would make the opera Epicles hang its head in shame, while the creations of Elaine Guillotine would be little more than a child's wind-up toy before the towering Remurian golems. Just as I was beside myself in awe, a few patrolling troops discovered me. Seeing my strange style of dress, they took me to be a spy for the barbarian tribes. They seized me, naming me a lowly slave, a degenerate believer in a false god, and threatened to throw me into a deep cistern to feed the vipers. Fortunately, the local aedile, I later found out that her name was Adiaz Navana, realized that my identity was anything but ordinary and had me sent before her. She endured my calamitous grammar and catastrophic accent. At the time, I could not even pronounce Remuria, with it coming out something more like Emuya, akin to Emuya, while asking me many questions, which I answered truthfully. Quickly, she accepted the fact that I was from the future and showed me a stone slate that the slaves had recently dug up. This button. The slate was a perfect square, each line and column engraved with 7 symmetrical sequences of symbols. These were not in Remurian script, but rather the characters we use today. Regardless of the manner in which the text was read or the order or direction, the information within the text did not change. It was an elaborate riddle involving dogs, pastures, cyan finches, the summer rain, the song of the roses, a Rishbolin tiger's stripes, and the ordered pattern of rocks. Despite my long-time love of wordplay games, this endless cycle of riddles made me terribly dizzy. For some reason, I knew that I must solve it, no matter the price. I spent half a year doing so alongside Adia, and it turned out the key to deciphering it lay within the name of a slave, now 30 years dead, while the answer was a date, set several hundred years after the Empire's fall. I bade Adia farewell and stepped back upon the time machine, forwarding myself to that date in hopes of finding the secret behind that stone slate. There I met several Marisalse hunters, and they showed me another stone slate, which again had 49 mirrored characters on it that formed another riddle. Again, the answer was a date, one set in the future, still further off. Following these stone slates' direction, I crisscrossed the fabric of past and future, shuttling back and forth 13 times. Each stone slate's riddle was trickier than the last. One of them could only be cracked using a bad romance novel that would only be published 300 years hence. The 5th word of the 37th page of that book would form a conjugate with the full name of the 375th Maison Gardiennage officer from 375 years ago. Another riddle cipher was based on a white flower that will only bloom several millennia in the future. I know not its name, and its pistil structure is very strange indeed. It might be a mallow of some sort, but I cannot be sure. That flower is nourished by skylark calls, and so one of the clues is to its cipher was the number of ribs on a skylark during Remurian times. I suppose that is, generally speaking, just how the riddle works. The final stone slate came from the underground storeroom of the Basil Elton Memorial Museum and had not but one number on it, 0. They're almost suggesting there's another time traveler who's creating all this like riddles for him to follow. I do not know what I was thinking at the moment. After all, setting my destination to 0 is an action utterly devoid of meaning, but I punched the number in my machine all the same and pulled the control lever. After who knows how long the machine stopped, I sensed that I was floating atop a sea with no waves or tides, or even the wind did not exist at that moment. The sky that loomed overhead was not blue, but a dark red adorned with countless stars, pale and distant, like salt frost lining the shore. I stared at this very first of oceans transfixed, and several minutes passed before I realized that there was something shadowy hidden beneath the placid surface. It was the Palais Mermonia, which should not be there. Ooh, interesting. Oh my god, it's almost been an hour. I've just been reading these weird passages and documents. Ugh. At that moment, I could hear someone call my name. Nevin Sirik, the voice called. I turned, and it was like looking into a mirror. A man identical to myself, looking me dead in the eye, just as I did him. Oh, maybe the elder traveler that said all this stuff was himself from the future to try and lead him somewhere. Nevin Sirik, he continued, you wish to conquer time. No one can do that. It was you who left those riddles behind. Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, it was himself. Is this like a science fiction novel or something? It's not like a real thing, right? Even though like the Steambird editor or whatever was referenced, it might sound like it happened in Fontaine, but it's like a light novel or of some kind. It was you who left those riddles behind. He repeated my question as if it was an answer. Those riddles are part of time, and every matching symbol is time itself. So the final answer to the riddle of time is 0? 0 is not an answer. Instead, it is another mystery, for the answer cannot be found in the riddle, he said. The answer to the time's riddle is a mirror, or perhaps I should say that this is the answer that is simplest to comprehend. When two mirrors face each other, time is the infinite reflection of light therein. Countless diverging, converging, and parallel lights form the illusion we call time. There is no past or future, for the past is the future. For the past is the future. As you stand here at moment 0 and look forward along the gap between the two mirrors, all beams of light fall along the same plane, and not one may escape. The Palais Mermonia had already sunk long before it was ever built, and the sunken Palais will be raised anew. Joy, sorrow, tears, and death must infinitely recur, for this is the nature of a mirror. Similarly, you can never conquer time, just as you can never grasp your shadow in your hand. Perhaps it was honor, or perhaps it was horror, or momentary frenzy, but when he finished, I whipped out the firearm I kept for self-defense, leveled it at his head, and pulled the trigger. The room was silent. I do not expect you to believe me, Sirik said as he stood up, his eyes sweeping the room. Just take it as a bunch of bunk that I made up to cover up for my inability to make a time machine. Make of it some lame tale, a dream born... Wait, what? So this is back to... So this whole, like, time travel thing story was, like, Sirik saying he went back in time and did all this stuff. And perhaps it was horror or momentary frenzy. But when he finished the story, the guy writing this, is it the editor? He whipped out his gun and shot him? And pulled the trigger. The room was silent. I do not expect you to believe me, Sirik said as he stood up, his eyes sweeping the room. Just take it as a bunch of bunk that I made up to cover up for my inability to make a time machine. Make of it some lame tale, a dream born purely of delusion. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, I shall take my leave of you. My future self awaits a riddle that I must set him. I never saw Sirik Nevin again. Wait, he pulled the trigger though. So he missed? He went like pow! He went like pow! Except he missed? Interesting. Keyword not located. This is the last one. This is very long. It's kind of long. Great Detective Herlock, the Alchemist and the Clockwork Saint. Chapter 6. So, the story ends like this. Herlock, is this like Sherlock? The Great Detective Sherlock. Herlock sat down and lit his pipe. But the rest of us, whether it was Agent Gina, Miss Jacoba, or the Commissioner, Miss Achie, looked at one another in confusion. You must still remember that the locations of the 4 previous cases were equidistant, where there was a symmetrical pattern between the time, space, and even the first letters of the 4 victims' names, Herlock said. This is also why Gina's deduction was completely off the mark. The murderer knew that she, possessing basic knowledge of the mystic arts, would assume that the followers of the Lilia Cruces Ordo would treat the patient as a necessary ritual sacrifice, so the culprit led her believe that her assumption was entirely correct. But when Duke Saint Germanus departed, he clearly said that everything was beyond redemption, and the next case would also. Agent Gina protests somewhat reluctantly. He's only a genius when it comes to mechanics. In everything else, he's just an ordinary person. Herlock paused, then continued. He's always been the type to like things he can fully understand, just like you, Gina. Ah, I get it, Miss Jacoba shouted suddenly. My dear Herlock. Now everything is crystal clear. The fourth victim's death wasn't a careful planned murder, it was pure coincidence. He only wanted to kill those three unfortunate gentlemen to avenge his comrade from the Liliac Crusade Ordo. But the traps he set weren't limited to just those three locations. He was worried that the plan might fail, since the three victims were all well-protected figures, after all. So he added a few extra traps, yet he never expected that with Gina's interference, the plan would go far more smoothly than intended. Miss Jacoba, please don't speak as if I were the accomplice. Agent Gina's face turned as red as a Sensieta as she protested indignantly. How adorable. Indeed, Herlock said calmly. It was unclear whether he meant that Miss Jacoba's deductions were correct or that Agent Gina was indeed an accomplice. Most of the experimental devices proposed by the Lilia Cruz Ordo are built based on simple, basic tree models, logical structures. They do not recognize their own masters, following only the commands they were initially given, so they end up killing said masters. This is why I keep saying, don't put too much trust in Clockwork Mecha. Unlike humans, machines have no heart. I remained silent as usual, but Miss Jacoba glanced at me with what seemed like a hint of puzzlement. What's wrong? Why are you standing there in silence? Is there something on your mind? No, I just didn't expect the truth to be so simple. Of course, my understanding of Clockwork Mecha cannot compare to that of the Duke's Saint Germanus, but I've done a bit of research to suggest that those mechanisms were merely activated by Mr. Marcello's mishandling seems a bit too contrived. But to imply that there was another mastermind behind it all felt like stretching into the territory of conspiracy theories. After all, no one besides us could have pulled off the operation I envisioned, so I decided to abandon further speculation, choosing instead to enjoy the reaction of the adorable Agent Gina. Hee, this is why you don't understand deduction. Agent Gina seemed to have regained her confidence, not to mention her mild sense of superiority over me. Excitedly, she raised a finger. Isn't there a saying that goes something like, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however? Stop right there. That's Fonto's something mass Rob something's story. So that's a famous... Is it also Sherlock Holmes' line? If you eliminate all what's impossible, whatever remains is the answer or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, stop right there. That's Fonto something mess, Rob something story. We don't have the publisher rights from their publisher. Herlock took another drag of his pipe. He seemed to be lost in thought once more. Regardless, this case came to an abrupt close. A person who did not manage to witness the end. A person who did not manage to achieve his ideals. A person who indulged in fairy tales. Who dreamt of following the hero he admired, yet never saw his dreams fulfilled. Someone who had everything, someone who lost everything, someone who woke up, someone who would never wake again. Unstinting in sacrifice, unflinching in farewell, undaunted by pain. Yet in the end, the sacrifices remain only sacrifices. The parting remains only partings. Clocks tick through tranquil years, fish swim in crystalline springs. No matter how grand a dream is, it will fade away like forlorn, wordless silence. And after that... Wait, what? This story kind of just fell apart. But it's the story we're supposed to give to Sandrone, so is she gonna figure something out? Oh my god, all that was an hour. So much reading. I really wish they actually made that stuff like interesting. Then that'll make it reading it worthwhile, but it was all just like random stuff that didn't really mean anything. Oh my god, my throat!
Most of the experimental devices proposed by the Lilia Crucis Ordo are built based on the simple and basic logical structure of a tree model. Lilia Crucis. Guess they were trying to cover up the name of the Nautitzenkreuz Ordo? When Duke St. Germanus departed, he said, "It seems that there's no going back." Alas, he is only a genius when it comes to machines. In all other things, he is but ordinary. Excuse me? I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous. What kind of book is this? Great Detective Herlock, the Alchemist and the Clockwork Saint? Isn't this a novel? Come on. Still, the author swears that they knew Renee well. Whatever. I guess it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Renee would say nonsense like that on occasion. Memory, wishes, souls, and persona. Frankly, this sounds more like occultism, but if Albedo vouches for it, I suppose there must be some alchemical basis to these techniques. The way Alain Guillotin saw it, the world was comprised of machines. The universe needed machines, and thus his technologies were created. That's why I was born. René, his full name was René de Petrichor, if I recall correctly. Sounds like he and the town must be intricately connected. That place was also the source of most of our information regarding Remurian civilization. Seems like some of his projects were based on their technology.
Isn't petrichor like the smell of rain or something? Yeah, that's what it is. If I go here, and I just show the browser real quick. I just googled it. Petrichor, a pleasant smell that frequently accompanies the first rain after a long period of warm, dry weather. I don't know where I heard this recently, but it's a recent thing. It's one of those synchronicity things that happened. I think I was I watching a Jacksepticeye video and he was talking about petrichor?
The cutting of souls and storing them in vessels. These seemingly unrelated techniques underpinned René's research. Assuming that the 4 orthants correspond to alchemical categories.
I think it was like a video Jacksepticeye did where he played through a game where you're like a war veteran who's in like a wheelchair or something like that. I don't remember what it was called.
The chemical marriage model? Alan would have scoffed at that. He never would have let those theories or parameters anywhere near his mathematical formulas. What was Alain's view on René? I know he mentioned the name, albeit very rarely. Oh, now I remember. Alain's old notes are here too. They mentioned René once. René seemed most out of sorts when he spoke to me. A lack of sweet foods has dulled his mind, I should think. Either way, his words are not to be believed. Yep, that sounds like Alain. My subordinates actually did a half-decent job digging out all these materials. Makes a change. Good for them. Some of Alain's old files are completely consistent with these records. He must have gotten them from the Tower of Gestalt. I never knew he got his hands on René's records that early. Heh, he may have kept them, but he never even attempted to use them. Didn't believe a word they said. Come to think of it, René's world formula was filled with calculations of constants. That shows he believed that the fate of the world to be predetermined. As for Alain... it's been too long. I forget what he said. What would he have said? A guy like him, fervent believer in machines, but not headstrong enough. The world can be changed. It is worth persevering. Yes, that's how he used to think at least. He created that procedure to save this world. Yet the scale of the world's fate proved too enormous. The result was beyond his ability to calculate. He died having never seen the outcome. And there I was, left behind in the ashes of his dreams. Did you really never take a close look at Renee's research? Or did you read it but deem his philosophy incompatible with your model? The very thought of trying to incorporate his ideas probably made you feel sick to the stomach. Well, don't worry, because there's a whole new category of lunatic in town. Next to Dottore, every other madman looks sane. You once asked me what I wished for. Should have asked him instead. He's the one pining for things you'd sooner die than witness. Even the tiniest variable can make big waves in the present. Now then, allow me to put these incompatible fragments together in your stead. First, establish and verify the existence of the Great Circle.
What?
Absolute nihil on one end, absolute reality on the other. Now, search between these two extremes. Then, the construction criteria. Variables. The sparks of civilization shall run out unless we consider introducing variables from outside the system. Input variables. Traverse the world, space-time, and civilization. Then extract the essential nodes from the records to determine which variables they point to. The primordial power that differentiated itself from the void. The power of light. Yes, light. Records. Hyperborea. This is horrendously complicated. After all that, I'm still missing a few variables. I need to think this through again. How do you think it looks, Polonia? Like the frenzied scrawlings of a madwoman?
I don't know. I am a robot.
Fine, keep it to yourself. It's not like you can talk anyway. I'll assume you gave it a passing grade.
Sounds good.
I jest. But true madness does often start with trying to save the world. What would Arlecchino and Columbina think if they saw this incomprehensible hen scratch? They'd probably have me institutionalized. So would Rosaline. She's been dead for a while now.
No, why would you bring that up?
When I close my eyes and think back, I can still see her face. And that enormous dress she used to wear. Such a bizarre choice. What possessed her? Oh, and the clack-clack of those heels used to drive me insane. No one's asking me, obviously, but I hope you all know that I never wanted to save the world.
Is she talking to us?
Crazy. I don't have delusional ambitions, and that's a clinical fact.
Is she breaking the fourth wall and talking to us?
The world needs a solution, but I don't need the world's validation. It's the world begging me for answers, not the other way around.
That sounds good, milady. Whatever you say. Let me, just walk over here. Tea time. Prepare tea. Take out the refreshments. How very nice. Prepare tea. Well, that was easy. We didn't need to boil any water. We didn't need to, like, set any tea leaves. Plate refreshments. Oop. Are those, like, fortune cookies? M'lady, I have prepared refreshments in case you were feeling peckish. Please enjoy.
Oh, cookies to go with the tea. Let's see. They must be from that person who brought those documents. I see they're from Hotel de Boer. Something's written on the box. We are proud to present this homage to the Fortress of Meropede's fun-filled mill collection system. Fortune cookies! Have a lucky start to your day. Sounds like a dumb gimmick to me. Be early to bed and early to rise. Get plenty of sun and drink plenty of water. Then things will surely go well for you. What? Are you kidding me? Somehow I doubt that an early night and a glass of water is magically gonna save a world on the brink of existential peril.
Or is it? Okay, well, that was a whole, like, thing that had nothing to do with anything. That didn't push any story along. It just pushed a lot of side stories along.
Lady Arlecchino, word has reached us that Lady Marionette's troops are all in position. They are ready to act as soon as the order is given.
Excellent.
The only thing is, they are fewer in number than we expected. It looks like many of them must have lost their lives at the hand of the monsters released by the Doctor.
Can't be helped. Allow them to join our ranks, and keep in contact.
As you wish.
Ilki. Oh, we get to be Arlecchino. Arlecchino. Hey there, fellas. I'm Arlecchino. Meet up with Child. Child's here.
It's been a while, Arlecchino. You look well. Did Dottore really have to build his lab right on the sole path between Snezhnaya and Nodcry? Had to go on a huge detour to stay out of its line of sight.
Sounds like an arduous journey. I assume you've brought word from Her Majesty?
Of course, all part of the job. Firstly, the Tsaritsa has authorized Fatui Internal Affairs to review Dottore's case. They will reach a formal verdict on whether he has turned traitor and whether he poses a threat to Snezhnaya. While they're working on that, I've been ordered to come and receive the refugees from Nodcry.
They are nearby. My team will escort you to them shortly.
Great. Aside from that, Her Majesty has a message for you and Sandrone personally. Huh? Where is Sandrone?
She's having tea and cookies.
She stayed behind to work since I was making the trip anyway. It seemed sensible to have one person on standby at base while the other came out to meet you.
All right, guess that's just how she rolls. In that case, tell her that the Tsaritsa's decree this time is pretty awesome sounding. I think she'll like this one. Still, I wonder what... Wait, what's that?
What's that?
Did one of our troops turn into a monster?
They turned into the monster because nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want Shay to eat chopped
Take
liver.
him out.
Oh, we got Child as well.
Transfix! Tidal wave! Brace yourself! This
I
is
wonder
gonna
if they're
hurt.
gonna, like, power creep some of these other characters because they're, like, really weak. Right?
Overruled.
You've gotten stronger, Arlecchino. Nice.
Stop that right now.
Wait,
I
why are we...
appreciate the
Oh, wait,
praise, but
that's
I'm
our
not
ally.
fighting you today.
I knew it.
Oh, she can't get healing from these either. She can only heal,
You're mine.
How did they build these characters? Oh, they don't let me see. Oh, there's two symbols on it.
I can't believe it. He was a living, breathing human one moment, and the next?
He was a living, breathing, not human.
Another fine piece of work by our dear colleague, I'm afraid.
What in the world has been going on in Nodcry?
Oh man, Arlecchino is so much cooler than Child.
A lot. But long story short, Dottore stole 2 moon marrows that should have belonged to Columbina, then built a 3rd moon marrow of his own to concentrate the Trilunar Authority in his hands.
What? What do you mean he built a moon marrow? People build roads and houses, not moon marrows. What's his next DIY project? He's gonna build a god?
He did that already.
You could stand to be less surprised. We are harbingers. The work we are engaged in makes the creation of gods seem mundane by comparison. I tell everyone who asks that you once crossed swords with Rex Lapis while serving as a key supporter for Rosaline's plan. But right now, you're acting like a common adventurer.
Thanks for speaking up for me. Those two really took me for a ride back then.
Everyone came to beat him up weekly during that time.
Then again, surely no common adventurer would manage to get tangled up with them the way I did. That's gotta count in my favor, right?
It almost sounds like you wish to repeat the experience. I might have to lower my opinion of you.
No. I'll stop talking. Please, go on.
Dottore is currently still experimenting with his newfound power in ways that continue to corrode the outside world. As for the human mutation, I believe this is simply a consequence of his experiments, and not a strategic move. That radiant beast was once a subordinate of Sandrone's. I suspect he was only allowed to live so that he could become an experimental subject.
What radiant beast?
Also, those of us who fought Dottore
What?
have been afflicted with a curse. As such, I cannot leave Nodcry.
But they just think they can't leave, right? Because the doctor was like, yeah, I dare you to leave, huh? And they're like, oh my god, he must have done something to us that if we leave, bad things would happen.
This is so much worse than I thought. No wonder Her Majesty's decree is so extreme. While these exceptional circumstances persist, the Harbingers are hereby authorized to use unilateral executive powers. Should Dottore pose a threat, Arlecchino and Sandrone are permitted to eliminate him.
Eliminate.
My thanks to Her Majesty. I will pass these good tidings on to Sandrone.
Her Majesty has also declared that she will refrain from launching an attack on the now evacuated Nodcry due to the presence of unretrieved research material.
She will refrain from launching an attack on the now evacuated Nodcry. Okay.
A wise decision.
By the way, how's my old partner doing? I'm assuming they're with you?
Who's they?
Partner? You mean the Traveler?
Oh, okay. So Traveler and Paimon.
I'm afraid I have bad news. She was captured after our failed assault on Dottore's lab. Her whereabouts are currently unknown.
And Paimon is really sad.
What? Why? Since when does Dottore have a bone to pick with her?
And something about her being a descender and he can kind of take advantage of that or something.
That is indeed the question. I'm not sure he does. He must have some other goal in mind.
This won't do. I have to rescue her.
You can't. We have no idea where the Traveler is.
What am I supposed to do then? Stand here twiddling my thumbs?
That's what you've been doing, have you not?
Sandrone is working on it. The best thing you can do right now is complete your mission.
Fine. I guess I'll leave this to you then.
Okay.
One last thing. Tell the rooster to get the
rooster?
message out to the gods and citizens of every nation in Teyvat. Beware. An uncontrollable pollution is spreading forth from Nodcry.
Spreading forth, damn.
The source of that pollution is a madman drunk on the success of his experiments. The Fatui and our allies will endeavor to contain the threat. However, if Nodcry falls, things are likely to escalate. Considering Dottore is one of our own, all Fatui stationed in Nodcry consider it our duty to stay and fight him to the bitter end. Whatever the cost.
Hey, don't be too pessimistic. If it comes to it, I'm sure Her Majesty won't stand by and do nothing.
I hope you're right.
That's a big ball of some kind. Ooey ooey ooh huh?
You're right on time.
Ooh, Albedo. Albedo is like kind of the only character that like whenever he comes on screen, you know the story's gonna be good.
Thanks. Hey, do you think I'll get that gliding exam exemption? I made sure I was on my best behavior in Mondstadt. I landed well outside the city and walked in through the gates.
I'll help you apply, don't worry. For now, let's see what we have here.
What are the Doctor's energy fields even made from? The usual attract and repel principles that govern Kuvaki don't seem to apply to them.
They are very mysterious, but ultimately, they appear to be comprised of energies from the three realms. Thanks to research by Master and the Hexen Circle, we know that Tevat's 7 elements are derived from the more primordial power of the Light Realm, which is antagonistic with the power of the Void Realm. Since you have the power of the Dragon Durin within you, I'm sure you can already tell that this energy field contains no abyssal energy.
That's true. It's not abyssal energy, it's something pure, wild, and untamed.
I've been thinking about something. Do you still remember the device that Dory supplied from the Academia when you and Miss Columbina fought Raria? That was one of the most marvelous feats of ingenuity I've ever seen. The design, the craftsmanship, the material selection. I couldn't fault any of it. Not to mention the operating principles. Surely the most ingenious feature of all. Dory didn't go into detail on how it functions, but I have a working theory. The clue was that Miss Columbina was somehow able to use the pyro energy that you provided, despite the fact that, as a moon goddess, she should only be able to use light realm energy in principle. Now, all elemental energy is, of course, derived from light realm energy to begin with. Hence, I suspect that the device works by restoring elemental energy to its original state. This presumes a theoretical model of the 7 elements akin to that of light refracted through a prism. Perhaps it is no mere analogy. Maybe there is indeed a prism in this model. I almost wonder if the idea for the device was conceived based on direct observations of said prism. It would explain how such an ironclad design concept was achieved. It is at once a masterwork of engineering.
Whoa, look who's here.
And a groundbreaking application of the Academia's latest elemental theories.
It's Hat Guy.
I suspect only Lesser Lord Kusanali herself could have devised such an ambitious technology.
Wait, what? She created that for Dory? What? No way.
But back to the energy field before us. If this is pure light realm energy, its relation to elemental energy is one of integration versus division. Or you could say that the former contains the latter. Could this mean that elemental energy can dilute the power of the light realm?
Should we give it a try?
We should.
Yeah.
Ha! It works!
Well, that was easy.
Clear signs of disruption were detected at the periphery of the energy field. This indicates that elemental energy can disturb or even negate the field. Now you try.
All right, here goes.
Yeah.
It's working!
Switch to abyssal energy and attack again.
It just gets absorbed.
No surprises there. Abyssal power drains the energy field to a significantly greater extent.
Oh, interesting.
I now feel confident in asserting that the energy field is indeed pure light realm energy, and that elemental energy can dilute it.
But the energy field is huge. How much elemental energy will it take to neutralize it?
We don't have to neutralize it completely. We can try other approaches. That's all for theory. Would you like to continue watching?
So you knew I was here.
We smelt you the way we smelt the moment you came close.
When did you get here?
A while ago. But Albedo sounded like he was working on his thesis defense back there. Back in Sumeru. You can end a person's whole career by interrupting them mid-speech.
Very thoughtful of you. I'm truly touched. Could I ask you to lend me a hand?
With what?
A little test. Try using Anima to unleash a concentrated assault with circular blades, with the goal of breaking through at a singular point.
Hiya!
Nice! This time it tore through the field.
Tremendous. This is a major breakthrough.
Should we go through?
We probably shouldn't risk having mutually antagonistic energies in such close proximity. Durin, you stay here and watch the entrance. Hat Guy and I will go in to investigate.
Sounds sensible to me. Keep your eyes peeled, Durin.
Don't worry, I got this. You two be careful in there. Just give me the signal if you need help, and I'll dive right in.
What do you mean, signal?
It's based on a new alchemical concoction I developed last month. When 2 bottles of it are smashed on the ground together, they emit a blinding burst of light. If it comes to that, remember to shield your eyes with your hat.
You don't have a hat. How are you going to shield your
Glad
eyes?
I asked. Thanks for the heads
He
up.
made a flashbang. We are Albedo. Hey, ho, hi, hey, ho, ha. Enter the energy field. Where are we right now? Wait, what? When did this all happen? The area has been swallowed up by energy fields. Damn. Not here though. The Hishi people are all fine. Alright, let's go ahead.
Like I thought. Beyond a certain distance, we can't see the opening where we came in. Maybe that's to prevent people from escaping.
Sounds like Dottore style to me.
Leave the energy field. Enter the energy field.
Not much has changed. Things are basically the same here as they were before the energy field appeared.
Hello? Hello? Anybody? What's this? It disappeared. Oh, we're supposed to follow it, aren't we? I can't use my elemental senses here. Are you eating him or her? Don't eat him! Oh, okay, you can't actually kill them. Well, there's a lot of dead people.
They have no heartbeats and they're not breathing. We can only assume they're dead. But there are no visible wounds. Also, there's an animal squatting next to each body.
They got turned into animals.
It's watching us. That's not an animal's gaze.
What are you trying to tell us?
Doesn't seem eager to talk. I guess maybe it's just an animal after all.
Let's keep looking around.
A heretic utopia. Yeah. Ah, don't mind me, we're just passing by.
Same situation everywhere. Not a living soul in sight. Just countless bodies with animals standing watch over them.
Well, I think we can safely rule out the possibility that they're all pets.
Is skirting around the topic your way of showing consideration for other people's feelings?
Just being cautious. I don't doubt that you can handle the truth.
Hello? Did they turn into these? Did their spirits like in their souls like fuse with these animals and they found themselves? And they're beside themselves and like, I don't know what to do. What am I gonna do?
Careful.
Whoa, something's happening.
Please, help us. Please.
Over there, I hear a voice.
How do I get up there? Hello? Hello? Oh, the music is like bugging out.
Please, help us. Please.
What happened here?
I don't know. Suddenly, everyone collapsed. Then my line of sight got lower. I still
have some of my senses left. I gotta get out of here.
It looks like there's a huge experiment going on inside this energy field. Maybe each energy field is its own giant experiment. Vile.
He's swapping human minds with those of animals. Even without the other circumstances, this would be an extremely radical experiment. Those people may have lost their sense of selves, but they are not fully animals either. If they were, they would have left. But instead, their instincts are driving them to remain by their dead bodies.
There's some dark stuff.
We should go. No sense in sticking around here longer than we need to.
Agreed.
But how are you going to get rid of this field, though? Leave the energy field. Okay. Whee!
Yeah, burst forth.
Jump over the deer. Perfect. Ah, there.
Ah, you're back.
No,
Everything
I'm
okay?
Mozart. And you're Beethoven.
We saw some things that take a strong stomach. Otherwise, we're fine.
We should share our findings with the others.
Doo doo doo. I'm like looking at I guess I'll show. I'm looking at this. I think we just did this. I guess we did this too. I can make it bigger. But then the last step is enter the world of the mirrors, and that doesn't sound like a last step kind of thing. Does this automatically lead me to the next Archon quest? Act 8? What I'm gonna do right now is probably I'm gonna go to the washroom real quick. I've been drinking all this tea, and it's really going through me. I'll be right back, real quick. Oh, okay, I'm back. I'm also Mozart.
Yes? Who is it?
Who is it?
Miss Nefer, it's me, Albedo. We found a way to break through the energy fields. With enough control, it's possible to tear them open using elemental energy.
Well, that was easy. How convenient. The elemental energy that everyone is able to use is what is needed to actually break into the thing.
Also, we managed to take a look inside. Dottore is carrying out his cruel experiments on an immense scale. Any residents who have failed to evacuate in time will likely meet a grisly end.
Sounds like he's living down to our expectations.
Might I ask how things are proceeding on your end?
I'm just about to get started. I'll be in touch once I have a result.
Understood. Stay safe.
I will.
Albedo.
Well, Nefer, I'll link up with you once my tasks are complete.
Albedo gets the respect of all the ladies, it seems like.
What makes you think I'd need you to do that?
I'll need it. And considering the way you approach certain matters, I think you'll be better off with me present.
Lao Gong Ma.
Let's begin. Entering simulation mode.
Simulation. Whoa. Isn't that where Riri here is like
vast
trapped?
Wasteland. Is this the traveler's inner world? I was expecting something more vibrant, to be honest. Wait, someone's there.
It's a boy.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the sky. I don't know.
In that case, I'll look at it with you. I want to know all about everything you've seen and experienced. Is there somewhere I should return to? Or should I stay here and be the hero everyone says I am? I don't dislike my current life. Roaming the land, fighting battles, accomplishing missions, earning a living, looking after Paimon. It's not so bad. I guess the only thing that's missing is that you're not here with me.
This is the conscious layer, which contains a person's true feelings. It is filled with both longing and kindness.
I suppose anyone who lives long enough ends up wishing for someone who can't be there. Maybe it's the only way we can feel truly alive.
Time to delve a little deeper.
Okay. All right.
Nasha Town is hardly the optimal choice for a place to live, but it has character and a reasonable population density.
What are you trying to say?
Oh, don't be nervous. I was just thinking where might make a good starting point for your journey. Perhaps I should send you further afield. Conria, perhaps.
Sounds good.
Conria ceased to exist long ago.
Yeah, silly.
Once again, you fail to understand the possibilities that the Tri-Lune creates. Anything that has existed in the past, I can now recreate. You simply do not wish to see that happen. That might be because you miss your sibling and fear getting answers that you are not ready to learn. But this is not for me to judge. If we are to collaborate, we need to maintain an amicable relationship. In a moment, you will be able to...
Oh, no.
Whoa.
What are you...
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
What are you gonna do?
Don't move. Something unwanted has crept into... Oh? Gone as quickly as it came.
Yeah, it's one of those, what do you call them? Intrusive thoughts, I guess? Is that what you found? I had an intrusive thought there of eating a lot of potato chips for some reason. Isn't Riri like stuck in this thing right now? Why is she able to use it while Riri is in there?
Did you save me?
Save me!
If I hadn't cut the connection, Dottore might have caught you from the other side and destroyed you. This was a good idea, but once is plenty. You were exceptionally brave. Excellent work.
Thanks, but now's not the time for that.
Albedo speaking.
I think I know where she is.
She's right over there. Well, that was easy.
What is this endless darkness? I can't see anything, even though my eyes are wide open. But what happened?
Ah, sorry about that.
Yeah, don't touch me.
I take it you didn't notice. Just now, a friend of yours took a little peek into your mind.
They can do that?
Could it be Nefer? How did she do it? Did she use something as a medium to connect to me?
Do you think she's aware of your current circumstances?
She has VPN keys to your connection.
Oh dear. Have I stunned you into silence?
Oh yeah.
I only wanted to slow down your time a little so I could stop your intruder in her tracks. It would have been nice to capture the spy. I must say, I'm finding the ability to adjust the flow of time rather intriguing. The moment you closed your eyes, time seemed to grow impossibly viscous, didn't it? A whole month passed before you opened your eyes again, but only for you. No one else was affected. I dare say this is something only a god can achieve.
Wait, what? That was not shown very well, if that's what happened.
Point taken. You've proven once again that you have god-tier powers.
Oh, you misunderstand. This wasn't about proving a point.
Where's
I
his
was testing
Tri-Lune?
things out. I find I learn best by doing, and I have to admit, time is not the easiest dimension to control. I only wanted to make you sleep for a short while, but it ended up lasting a whole month. Clearly some finesse is required to wield the authority over time as I wish. I hope you're not angry with me. It was only a month's discrepancy, nothing too serious. Had I been off by a year, a decade, or even a century, that would have been quite a different story.
You could have frozen me for millions of years. So much for collaboration. You aren't showing much sincerity.
I feel like they're like talking at each other and they're not actually having a conversation. They're like talking about completely different things.
Millions of years? To what end? I wonder if you don't understand humans all that well. They are very pragmatic creatures who understand only that which they can perceive with their senses. If I had you sit here for a week, I imagine people might sympathize. But if I left you here for 100, 1,000, or 10,000 years...
Or 11,000, or 100,000, or 110,000...
The sheer size of that number would cause it to lose all meaning to them. They would not have the capacity to comprehend your suffering, and thus they could not empathize. Unfortunately, while gods do exist in Teyvat, it is ordinary humans that account for most of the population. Their lifespans are so limited, their bodies so fragile. Did you ever really hope that they could begin to understand someone like
Why
you?
are we talking about what? Why are we talking about what? Why are we talking about if people would understand her all of a sudden, and if the specific time she's like stuck blinking is of any significance? This is a little bit weird. And they were leading into something interesting, and they kind of like got off topic into all this stuff. And I was like thinking about it, and I kind of lost it. Like all this stuff distracted me. I was gonna say something about the time element, because we read that one story when we were playing as Polonia with Sandrone, about that one guy who said he invented a time machine, right? So I thought they're gonna try and connect that, but I guess that was like a story that people might have skipped reading. So maybe if they did connect to that, then people might not have even made the connection anyway. So I don't know, this whole story, this whole thing isn't really messing, really like making sense in my mind right now. It's really messing with me.
Your long life and unique origins make you fundamentally different from them.
Wait, we have long
will it
life?
be before
Was
they
that
start
established?
To treat you like the alien you are. Before you are ostracized, outcast.
Then why are we not allowed to drink alcohol?
Alien.
Even I feel bad for you sometimes. This world has made you into a slave. So many times you have served its will, and not once have the powers that be ever thought to grant you the one simple thing you wish for.
Yeah, because they're all weak, I guess. I don't know.
You have been treated most unfairly.
But then we got involved because we wanted to help those, so what does that have to do with anything?
I can change that. I will grant you special privileges and give you back the status you rightly deserve as a descender.
Oh, are we playing as Columbina again? This is gonna be great.
I've entered the past 3 times at this point, but I still have so many questions. For instance, beyond each point
she's
being
not
further
wearing
back
her-
in time than the last,
Her high
what
heels.
determines the specific locations at which I can make entry?
No idea.
So far, the common thread linking all 3 scenarios is that the Traveler has been present. But it's more than that. I know I sensed something familiar around her. What was it? I'll keep this question in mind as I carry on.
A what?
Humans.
It's
You
Riri.
never change. Always trying to use powers you neither comprehend nor control.
This looks like Star Sand Shoal. Was this before Rerir regained his physical form?
Oh yeah.
You've messed with the cannon again, huh? Sorry, but this round's not gonna go your way.
Paimon's going to murder you.
The cannon. That's right. I was at Silver Moon Hall and I sensed an abnormal Kuvaki fluctuation coming from Nasha Town. And right after that, came an ominous power emanating from Star Sand Shoal.
My body was once torn into countless pieces and hurled into the swirling chaos of time itself. But even so, my life and will were not extinguished.
I wonder if I could try to prevent his resurrection.
I highly doubt it.
But how would I do it? What can I do, here and now?
You can absorb him. Paimon.
Traveler! Behind you! Look at that light!
No, I won't make it in time.
Rasengan?
She's using the Kuvaki shield like I taught her. Is she gonna use it to block the cannon's beam? She's strong. I'm sure she can manage. But the force released when the beam impacts the shield might lead to collateral damage.
She has the Traveler has the Eternal Marrow in her right now, right? In this moment of time, I think.
Easy Island. The Frost Moon Scions will be exposed to lethal levels of Kuvaki.
A question, if I may. Kind Miss Columbina. When the cannon's Kuvaki beam was deflected earlier, I saw several bolts of energy streak toward Hisi Island, only to be blocked. Did you also have a hand in that?
Oh, it turns out she did. That was me. It was me.
Maybe that really was me after all. Well, future me.
Present, future.
But I don't know if I have enough power left.
Sigi sato pasa sais, nititi potuftos.
There's no time.
Osestikos paratin tiranto risuiku, topir to aithion veraton.
I have to make it. Oh, Frost Moon. Oh, great land. Oh, slumbering moonlight of Nodcry. If you can hear me, if you can sense my call, then please, heed me once more!
Rasengan. Space. Explosion! Wing! Oh no, she falls down!
Work.
Oopsies.
Hey, wake up. Hey, did you hear me? Columbina, I said wake up now!
Wait, what? What?
Good morning, Sandrone.
It's 3 in the afternoon, actually. And could you kindly not use my quarters as your personal nap room next
Oh, she's
time?
having a dream of the past?
But I feel so safe here. And your coffee, right? It's so bitter, but it smells lovely.
It's like you were raised by wolves in a forest or something. What did you drink growing up? Grass tea?
The Frost Moon Scions certainly led a more frugal existence than the Fatui.
Then I'll bet you've never eaten one of these before.
It smells delicious.
That's because it's a Fontanian recipe. I had a little free time today, so I made a batch. Rosaline will be here shortly, but if you really can't wait, I guess you can go ahead and... Hey, at least let me finish before you start eating! Did the Frost Moon Scions not teach you basic table manners? Or did the rules not apply to you because you're the high and mighty moon goddess?
These are so tasty.
I'm looking at this thing right now. I don't actually know where we are. I'm looking at the browser, actually. I feel like we just did this. Touch the mysterious, find the entrance to the memories. So we just went into a memory, right? And it was a memory of the Rerear fight. And then we touched the mysterious power. We didn't do this stuff yet, but then we're in like some, I don't know what part of the story we're on. And I was looking at the next thing, and we are talking to Marionette, but we didn't return to the... We did return to the Curatorium of Secrets, right? With Nefer, but I don't think this is it. I don't think we're here yet.
Of course they are.
Anyway.
I made them.
I was worried they might contain traces of machine oil.
What?
Don't they say canola oil is essentially machine oil? Canola oil was originally like made as like machine lubricant, and then we had so much of it left that they decided to sell it as cooking oil or something like that.
You know, there's something I've always wanted to ask you. Why did you leave your old home and join the Fatui? I mean, I'm sure their food was awful, but there's gotta be more to it than that.
Well, life there didn't go quite how I imagined.
What were you expecting? You're a god. Your followers are gonna make some demands of you, right? Surely you can just answer a few prayers here and there in return for the free food and drink. How bad can it be?
Well, would you help other people just for free food and drink? The doctor told me that you were created by a great mechanic.
Oh, created?
Lord something Fisher.
She is a robot this entire time. Is she the sentient robot that Elaine made? That people can't find or anything or something like that?
The Lord Artificer. Ugh, some people can't keep their mouths shut.
Oh, Lord Artificer. And didn't he have something to do with the, narcissist?
Narcissenkreuz Ordo.
Yes, that was it. Narcissenkreuz Ordo. So, would you try to fulfill their wishes?
So she's a sentient robot. Just like Scaramouche. Scaramouche is the puppet that Raiden Shogun created, right? Where did Raiden Shogun learn to create super crazy strong robots? It's interesting. Are they gonna tie in that somehow?
You must be joking.
Oh,
I
man.
wouldn't go even if they paid me. I don't even know them.
Exactly. Well, I felt the same way. I did not know the people who made demands of me.
What do you know? We're on the same page for
Oh,
once.
they have so much in common. They're best friends.
In his later years, Alan did ask me if there was anything I wanted to do. If I had any wishes of my own. Well, I don't. And I'm not in any mood to fulfill someone else's either.
Who's Alain?
He was the... You know what? Never mind. You're not gonna remember. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, neither of us is the self-sacrificing type. Let me ask you this. What sort of place would you like to live in, if you could choose?
A place where people don't ask me for things I cannot give them. Where they don't worship me, or fear me, but just want to chat with me like a normal person.
That's where she is right now. With her best friend, the marionette.
I'd also like the freedom to come and go as I please. And ideally, it would be somewhere with the smell of coffee and snacks.
Not to burst your bubble, but no such place exists in the world. Now, take your snacks and scram.
But she was there just now. She was describing her current situation.
Did I pass out? Of course. I'm back here again. I dreamed of events from my past. Sandrone. Traveler. I miss you all so much.
Not Arlecchino?
I guess I managed to harness all the Kuvaki energy on Hisi Island. But how did I do it? Time is flowing backwards here, and I can use that familiar power to enter the world of the past. That mystery ally everyone talked about. It was me all along.
It was me!
I can sense that there isn't much more power remaining up ahead. What lies at the end of all of this? Will time keep flowing into the past? And will I ever find my way back?
She has her high heels again. Why did she lose? Oh, she loses them when she walks, and they show up when she stands. That's kind of funny. I didn't never notice that before. Okay, let's do this.
It's getting harder and harder to use my power.
Nope, missed. Oh wait, no, I just pressed F on it.
I'm no match for the Abyss in this state. I need to avoid the contaminated fragments.
Doodle-doodle-doo.
Time to go. I wonder where I'll find myself this time.
Alright, so this is Enter the Mirror. If I go back to the browser here, we're at this step here. It looks like it's just gonna lead into the next, like, Archon quest. Unless we enter, like, the mirror and then it shows, like, a cutscene or something that wraps everything up. And then in the next Archon quest, like, it wraps everything up. It's just all cutscene. It wraps everything up. She somehow, like, escapes, and then she meets up with everyone again, and then in the next one is when we actually get together to try and find the Traveler as well. I don't know, but I guess we can see what happens. All right, let's do this. I hope it doesn't just automatically lead into the next one. I hope it like just ends and then I can end the stream.
Night cemetery. This is where Flint's is based.
It's Paimon.
Or not? How are we supposed to read through this many files?
Oh yeah, we got like we were gonna have to look through all of this, but then like one of the books suddenly like fell down or got lit up or something, right? And then it like took us to what we needed to do.
Difficult, yes, but it is also
or it
our
gave us
most
the information
efficient
we
option.
needed.
Seems like they're searching for information. Oh, I remember. Flintz and Varga talked about some files on the Wild Hunt.
When I was playing through all this, I didn't even notice that there was all this weird stuff going on. I was just like, oh, what was that all about? And then I just kind of forgot about it.
Was this my doing too?
To expose the true intentions of this Rerir, we need to dive into Notcry's history.
Are my actions changing the past? Or are they simply completing a process? Is all of this inevitable? Or am I the one making these decisions? If I choose not to help them now, will it change how things turn out?
Hope we don't land on our heads then.
They're my friends. I can't not help them.
Wing!
Ah! Ghost!
And the other one was... here.
Hey! Another file's moving!
That should do it. Hmm? Luanatar?
Can she see her?
You can sense my presence? Wait!
She should have looked for her companion this entire time. Her fairy companion? I don't know what you would call Luanotar. A Kuhenki?
Luanatar. So she's that familiar presence I've been sensing all along. She's always been by the Traveler's side. That explains why the Traveler has been there each time I've entered the past. But why Luanatar? Is it because she has a connection to me as the Moon Goddess's familiar? If so, why not any other Kuhenki? That's...
Wing! You were inside Luanotar this entire time! What? No, maybe that's probably not it.
I cannot sense any power up ahead. Just a void, stretching out into infinity.
What are you avoiding?
This is likely my final chance to enter the past. It's now or never. I have to find a way back.
It's my life, it's now or never. Alright, what's gonna happen? Is it quest complete? Is it Archon quest complete?
Hisey Island? How far back in time is this? Where's Luanatar? I can't sense her presence this time.
It's Paimon.
Seeing Enefa and Aino reunited like that sure was heartwarming.
Oh yeah, this is right after we came here.
Traveler, Paimon. No, stay calm. I don't have much power left to change things. I don't even have that much time left here. Think, Columbina. How do I find a way back? A way back... to where? Do I go back to Moon Prayer Night? Or to the future that followed? And if I return in my current state, what will become of me then?
She turned... Is Luanotar just like a version of her?
Dotori's actions that day proved that he'd been planning that for a long time. He had already seized the power of 2 Moon Marrows before capturing me. Even if I manage to get back, how can I fight against him when he wields the Tri-Lune Authority? I can't. If I go back like this, I'll be playing right into his hands. I have to find some way of rivaling the power he has usurped. Wait. Time flowing backwards. The Tri-Lune Authority. Does that mean... I think I know what the final destination of this lunar reflection might be.
The moon? That's a fake moon, though.
I know what I must do.
Is she gonna turn into Luanotar and it turns out it was like another version of Columbina this entire time? Following
Speaking
us?
of homes, we must already be close to where the Frost Moon Scions live. The vibe here feels different. Just like the scenery.
But how do I communicate my plan to my friends? Should I write it down here? No. Someone else will see it. I need something with a close connection to me. Something I can use as a medium to tell them what's happened to me in here.
Did we get a message back then randomly when we first arrived here and we just didn't realize? I can't even remember.
Now it makes sense.
Oh, she turns this stuff red? No, she turns this stuff white? Whoa. She did turn into Luanotar, or she made a Luanotar. And it gave Lumine a little kiss.
Hey, what was that? I feel like some sort of breeze blew by, and then the petals suddenly turned into... Huh?
It was I who brought Luanatar into being. I gave up a piece of my own soul to create her.
You can do that?
That's why I could sense a familiar power from the moment I entered this space.
I guess, what's his name? So Reknar of Sonari, Ririr, his soul got like split up like crazy too, right? And Flynn's had like a piece of it in his lamp the entire time.
It also explains why she's been present in every past location that I've entered. Because we have a deep connection.
Weren't we putting stickers on this person in one of the things?
Hey there! What's your name?
And the reason why there are no more gates to the past after this point is that Luanatar hadn't been born then. No wonder I sensed the trace of a blessing when we first met. But I still didn't recognize the soul hidden within you. Back then, I was just a little lost dove. I had yet to become Columbina Hyposelenia.
Go on. Go on now. We've got stuff to do.
They're both floaty little
Best to find
wingums.
someone else to hang out with.
Floaty little fairy things. Oh, good. You killed the Paimon! What did you do?
Hey, you scared it off.
I'll be counting on you. Remember to stay by the traveler's side. Guide her, and help her in my stead. Oh, and bring her to the garden where the moon prayer blossoms grow. There's a little lost dove there who will need her help.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. I'll see you later.
You too. Go and live your story. As for mine must go in a different direction.
No. She's is symbolizing her going back in time and her going forward in time. Got a quest complete there. Hey, we didn't get a crazy animation, but it kind of worked how we thought. Oh, we have this to wrap up too, it seems like.
How would you like to experience the thrill of never being held accountable for your actions? You could crush people like ants without consequence, or tear off their heads or limbs as you please. Believe me, such a life is but one small step away.
Can I get infinite Primo Gems instead? In fact, just get rid of the gacha system and every time make it so that every time we finish the story, we just unlock the characters or something. That would be really fun. Can you do that instead, Doctor?
What point is he trying to make? Freedom? But the freedom to kill? To do evil and get away with it? Why would you offer me that?
The creation of a world is the ultimate scientific experiment. I have taken my research to the highest level, where I shall be not just a god, but also a servant to many sacred spirits. I shall heed the truth and perform holy deeds. A god's laboratory is the perfect playground. But it needs the right occupant to explore its full potential. Mortals are found everywhere one looks. Not so with Descenders. I'd prefer my first guest to be a distinguished individual such as yourself. And I know you could make the most of the opportunities it offers.
So the condition for entering the new world is to take innocent lives. The same dilemma that Rerir once faced.
Wait, what? Rerir had to take innocent lives? Oh yeah, he was killing people who were like had blood ties to that one like Arlecchino clan or something, right? But to him, he didn't think they were innocent. He thought they were like a threat to their government or whatever.
Could I really bring myself to kill others for my own benefit? Rerir did. And look where it got him.
Is that even a question? We are the hero. Of course that's a no.
Have you made up your mind?
I can't do it. Your playground is no place for me. You're putting your hopes in the wrong person. But we both know I'm not quite the hero you say I am either. I have my own reasons for the journey I'm on. And they aren't all selfless.
You've grown a lot since we last met, but there are still things you are unwilling to compromise on. This will only hinder you. Why don't I lower my requirements a little as a gesture of goodwill? I'll give you a little time to learn to be a less noble soul. That'll make things much easier for you.
I really doubt I could live that sort of life.
And yet you already sound less defiant than a moment ago. The benefits appeal to you because you can read the signs of the times. Why don't we return to my research facility? Your last visit was so rushed. There is much that I have yet to show you.
Ooh, we get a cool cutscene.
Now to that question,
Tap say.
Heroes don't attack from behind. Guess I'm no hero.
This is most disappointing.
The thing is, we fought against gods in the past. And we did fine. Well, I guess we have help, so maybe that's the case. We don't have help right now. The Speed Force?
Now then.
Hat Guy! Oh, he tried to turn Hat Guy into a god at some point. That's one of the experience. Or that's one of the experiment.
A new face. Interesting.
Oh, that's not a new face. He doesn't recognize him because he erased himself. Okay, so we were able to... I guess Columbina is still kind of stuck, but we were able to get the Traveler out. Hat Guy, how did you get here?
You're still gonna call me Hat Guy after that, huh?
You came all this way just to save me?
I didn't see anyone else in there who needed saving.
Thank you so much. Fair point. You just caught me by surprise. Thank you. Wait, you're injured?
It's nothing. I'll be fine.
Oh, so she was in one of these orbs or these fields.
Why are you looking at me like that? Is it that shocking that I'd come to your rescue?
I'm more shocked that you caught the doctor off guard.
I owed you a favor back in Sumeru. Now we're even. Distracting Dotori was tough. I won't lie. He's not gonna fall for the same trick twice. That was my one shot. I'd hoped to use it to take him out. Ugh. I never wanted to obliterate someone more than I do right now. Dotori doesn't recognize me, but his segments were originally made based on an analysis of my operational principles.
His segments were originally made? So he created that Trilune with the information, with the research and experiments done on him? Since he's like created by Raiden Shogun, he was able to reverse engineer some of Raiden Shogun, or not Raiden Shogun, Raiden A. Some of her like designs.
I expect it's only a matter of time before he figures out what I am.
So Dotori doesn't recognize Wanderer because he deleted himself from Irminsul. Did he really miss his only chance for revenge by saving me?
Why the long face? Hey, I'm not blaming you, okay? And I'm not complaining either. Rescuing you and killing Dotori are equally important goals. Everyone would be pretty stuck without you. It's best you live to fight another day.
How are you holding up? Are you all right? Hat Guy said to put safety first, so we agreed to run as far away as we could after leaving the energy field, and only meet up once it was safe.
You don't look injured. It seems that Dotori didn't do anything to you.
He talked at me for hours and hours and hours, and I was just like, oh, so much talking. Yeah, I'm fine, guys, thanks.
All right. Rescue operation complete. Let's head back. There's a lot more work to be done before this is over.
We still need to find Columbina. Wait, why did it automatically starts the next one? Boo! 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 Stop that. What's the point of splitting things up if you're just gonna make things flow into each other? I feel like they should just make, instead of like putting these stories into the game, they should just make an anime if they're just gonna do this.
Understood.
I mean, like, we're not really playing the game at this point. It's just dialogue after dialogue. Oh man, that sucks, man. This entire thing I've been just I have not regained control where I can leave. But yeah, once I do regain control, I'm gonna have to like probably end things. Oh, that sucks, man. Why do they do that? Why do they lead one story into the next? Why even bother splitting up into different acts if it's just going to lead into each other? It's really frustrating.
I don't see what's so awesome about it, though. Does he really think everyone else is as immature as him? I'm not stooping to Tartaglia's level.
They should have had like a little dialogue box when one of them is over, like one of the acts was over, and it's like, do you wish to continue with the story? If you don't continue, it's not an optimal experience or whatever of the story. If you don't continue, it's not an optimal experience, but if you would like to continue, like just accept or whatever, and I can be like, no, I don't want to continue, I'll just like deal with it. But because I guess the way they wanted to present this is that this is all happening concurrently, like one after another. So like if there was a pause between Act 7 and Act 8, then you'd think some people might be like, oh, it doesn't make sense, there was some time in between or something like that. But they really wanted it to be like one after the other. I don't know. I feel like they should respect the player's time a bit more, because like this is my second stream of it and it's already 2 hours and 24 minutes into it, and we just started like another act, so I'm assuming there's going to be another like 3 hours of this. So this is so unreasonable to like expect a person to have like 6 hours to sit down and play through this. But I guess I read all that stuff, so maybe that was an hour there. And also, most people probably just read it. They don't care about the voice line. They just skip through, and that probably reduces the runtime quite a bit. And maybe some people don't even pay attention to the story. They just skip through it and they try to like get to the rewards at the end. But yeah, I don't know. I want to like the story. I want to be able to like take in the story chunks at a time. I don't want to like binge this all the time. Ugh, okay, well, let's continue.
I thought you might say that. How's your progress?
Quite promising, actually. That alchemist Albedo gave me a few ideas.
I thought she was trying to figure out how to get to the Traveler. I guess she was working with Albedo and we found out. Albedo was the one who found out how to get through it into the fields. She didn't really do anything. I guess well, what did she do? She found out... I felt like the whole section at the beginning was like really tangential to what we were doing. We were like reading about random keywords. We were learning about some random strange things in Fontaine. And had a Sherlock Holmes story to read. That really didn't lead into like make any progress in the story. It was Albedo who actually pushed the story along. Even though there was communication, I don't really feel like she did anything.
Remember how I asked you to look up some files for me? That stuff on the Nachtschitzenkreuz Institute. Rene de Petrichor and Jakob Ingold. Alain Guillotin despised Rene's theories and methods, but he never managed to come up with better alternatives either.
Wait,
so I adopted some of Rene's ideas.
So was she trying to find a way to get into the realm Columbina fell in? Well, I guess that would make sense. And Albedo wanted to find how to find out how to locate... Oh, man. He wanted to find out how to locate the Traveler. That makes sense, too, since we have or the Traveler and Albedo has more of a closer relationship. And Sandrone and Columbina had a closer relationship, so... I don't know. I feel like that wasn't really expressed very well, or unless I just like forgot or didn't pay attention. Because I always thought she was. That's why she was like in contact with Albedo and stuff. But maybe like she was working on everything at once, and it just turned out Albedo was able to figure one part, and she's now trying to figure out the other part. Those parts being Albedo trying to find the Traveler and her. And somehow trying to find Columbina as well. Anyway.
I thought Alain was like a father to you. He and Rene were mortal enemies, were they not?
They were mortal enemies?
And what would you say if Linny and his friends one day learned something useful from someone you utterly detested?
I would applaud them for it. That would mean that they have surpassed me.
For all we know, Alain Guillotin might have thought the same thing. Not that it matters, though. He's dead, and I'm alive. So it's my call to make. Once you die, it doesn't matter how great you were in life. Only the living get to decide what happens next.
Hey, come on out. They're back.
Huh?
There are also Mozart and Beethoven. Those are the only classical music people that I know. Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart.
You're back? And your head's still screwed on? And you still have all your limbs?
What does it look like? Way to keep your composure, madam.
Excuse you. I am perfectly composed.
Hey everyone, I'm back.
Glad you're okay.
Oh, I'm back. No, I'm not okay, I'm back.
Yes, it's a huge relief.
Sorry for making you all worry. Where's Paimon? Oh, she went to Natland because it was dangerous here. What? No Paimon?
Worry? Oh, yeah, right. You think we, the Fatui, were worried about you?
We were worried sick.
Hey!
The Traveler and I were already friends. You are free to join this mission in whatever capacity you please, much like your tea parties.
It's a laugh a minute with you guys.
I must say, I was quite
It's funny
surprised when
'cause she
Mr.
knows
Albedo told
them.
me he would need no additional aid.
But they don't remember him, but he remembers them, right? So he's just like, when everything he says has like an extra meaning to it when it pertains to like these two.
We discussed this on our way back as well. I am rarely so unequivocal, but in this case, we had full confidence in Hat Guy.
He said he knew what he was doing. Albedo and I pretty much had to just wait outside on standby. Meanwhile, Hat Guy broke into the energy field and rescued the Traveler solo.
You didn't have to mention that.
Well, I'm thoroughly impressed. You are a force to be reckoned with, Hat Guy.
Is she back? Is she really back?
No, she's Mozart. I mean, she's fine. I mean, she's okay.
It's really you!
It's really me, Paimon. I'm back. And Mozart. Crying Paimon.
Goodness! Paimon missed you so much!
You can finally breathe easy, Paimon.
It's great to have you back in one piece! Oh. Paimon's been having nightmares the whole time you were gone!
Look at them. You know, once you reach my age, there's nothing better than watching a misty-eyed reunion between friends.
It's nothing. Same goes when you get to my age, too. I bet Ino and Anefa would be tearing up as well if they were here.
Varka, I'm not sure Anefa can cry.
Oh, yeah, good point. Hey, your eyes are looking a little red and puffy. Come here, let's hug it out.
What? Ew, no! No, thank you. You're not my dad, okay?
You're not my dad, okay?
Everyone, I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused you. But the silver lining is, I didn't come away from this ordeal empty-handed. While I was being held captive, I learned a lot about Dottoro's current capabilities and what he plans to do with them. Allow me to explain.
Blah, 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 blah. Explain.
The three moon goddesses were even more powerful than we imagined. No wonder Dottore believes himself to be equal to the gods. Maybe even superior.
Utter blasphemy.
While everyone was gone, Nefer and I made an interesting discovery, and I believe Miss Sandrone has something to share too. Ma'am, perhaps you could do the honors?
Sandrone explains Columbina's situation and shares a finding of her research so
Called
far.
it. Getting rid of a pesky troublemaker like her is like trying to clean up after a crumbly cake. It always comes back to haunt you.
Columbina's alive? I knew she wouldn't give up. Because, yeah, she was writing the messages for us. That's how we knew, right? Or how this group of people knew. But then we don't know. Only us, the viewer, knows that Luanotar is actually a piece of Columbina's soul. So how is that going to play into this?
Our next step is to find a way to bring her back.
A place where time flows backwards, with no destination in sight. Surely it must have been created for a specific purpose. But I fear the answers are buried deep in Tevat's history, held by great powers beyond our reach.
It sounds like she's on a specific path through time, just traveling in the opposite direction to us. The question is, where does that path lead?
Hey, there's Luanotar right
will
there.
it keep going to infinity?
We considered that question as well. Strictly speaking, time is not infinite.
Indeed not. Every road has an end.
Nicole! You sure loved quietly sneaking in mid-conversation.
I do, in fact. It's something I've always done at our mages' tea parties. Quiet, mysterious, and persuasive.
Winky face.
You
Winky
wonder what
face.
lies at the end of her road. Well, just as the world has a beginning and an end, so too does time. And so, the end of the road is the moment that Tevat was born. But where Miss Columbina will end up along this road, that depends on where this particular river of reverse time began.
What about the original moons and the moon goddesses? Do they have a beginning too?
All things do. In the beginning, no moons adorned the sky. It was the Dragon King Nibelung who raised the 3 moons into the heavens, and thus were the moon goddesses born.
Nibelung is one of the descenders, isn't it? Isn't Nibelung a descender? I'm just gonna quickly Google that. Make sure I'm talking about the right stuff. Let me see here. Nibelung. Here, I'll kind of show it here as well. Second descender of Teyvat, Nibelung. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So he created the moons in Teyvat's sky?
They were shadows of the planet, born to wield Nibelung's authority and oversee the world on his behalf. They were extensions of his will, manifestations of his majesty. But then one day, they disappeared just as suddenly as they had once been brought into being. Nobody knew where they had gone.
Oh, we're back to Columbina. So can I exit
Like I
now?
thought.
Damn it!
No more paths back to reality have emerged since. But how can I be sure that I'm going the right way without scenes from reality to keep me on track? I can't even be sure of how long I've been walking for. The further I travel, the less stable this space becomes. There are even moments where I can sense something that feels like abyssal energy. They can just materialize out of thin air. I have to keep my wits about me.
Can I exit? Can I exit? The first sliver of moonlight. Investigate the anomaly ahead. You are currently in a special story mode. If you leave and re-enter, you may have to experience some of the same content again. To continue, do you wish to leave? Yes. And then where would be the entrance be to this? Oh, is this the Creatorium Secrets? Okay, nice, okay. At least it took a while. It took a whole like 2 cutscenes there. 2 dialogue sections in order to get to this point. Which is, I don't know, I feel like they can do this a little bit better. Well, when it comes to like respecting the player's time. It's like, we've already been doing this for so long. Why do you keep us trapped here? We are trapped in this story. We were trapped in this story, just like how Columbina was trapped in that realm. But at least we found our way out. At least there's some consolation. Is it consolation? They eventually give you a way out, but it still took a very long time. It's like, what is it like? You know how like, if you ever took the bus, there's like bus stops everywhere. And it's like if there's not enough bus stops along the route, so you always have to walk like super far to get to your bus stop. It's kind of like that. I don't know, that's a really dumb analogy. Anyway, I'm gonna end things here. We'll continue this story in the next one. This story, I don't know. It took a while to get through, but a lot of it was me reading. So really, the reading part maybe I shouldn't have done, but I was also curious about what those texts would, what kind of lore they would provide. But it's just a little disappointing that they didn't really reveal anything more. Ooh, I got rewards here. Yes. Yes, please.
It's one of those things where you gotta use
Okay, that's the next one. True Moon.
it or lose it.
True Moon is the next Archon quest. We'll do that. We'll continue this in the next one, I think. For now, I think this is a good place to end it.
So, wanna train with me sometime?
Is there anything else? The story itself, it's like, I can see parts that are good. It's like, the whole being stuck, I guess we were stuck here with Dottore. That part was, I think execution, it was not done really well, because the stuff they were saying was just like, maybe tangentially related, and it's like, their conversations didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, like the flow of it. But then the idea of like, this like evil being wants to take advantage of you because you're a descender and you have like these special powers. and he's trying to corrupt you using words, and you have to like think your way through. I guess that idea, that kind of story is kind of cool, but I just feel like they executed it like not very well. Nefer somehow looking into Lumine, the Traveler, was a cool little thing, since like a lot of that stuff was previously established, right? And then Dotori somehow like figuring that out, like I don't know, that was kind of hand waved. He just somehow knew. I guess we can kind of just hand wave and say it's his godly powers. He somehow like picked up on a frequency or something, some energies. I don't know, that again, like that whole part was like, I feel like poorly executed, even though the idea is like really good. Columbina being stuck in her realm, and it turned out Luanotar is just a piece of her this entire time. I felt it was a pretty good reveal, and Luanotar was like hanging out with us this entire time. It was actually like a bit of Columbina sticking with us. Kind of curious where that's gonna lead. Is Luanotar gonna be the one to like clear the way or show us the way to finding the way or whatever to Columbina and getting her out of that realm? And are they gonna refuse back together and she's gonna be super powerful again? How's that gonna work? It's really cool though that they had to think everything through to this point, because like all those updates, all those story beats where Columbina like affected things, it was like just like a moment of like weirdness, like, oh, something weird happened, but they didn't never really dwelled on it. But it's because they're setting up this section of the story where she's going back and like doing a bunch of stuff, which is also kind of a cool concept. So yeah, there's like good stuff in the story. Albedo going into the experiment and everything. Albedo's story is always like pretty solid, I feel like, whenever he's like involved. Albedo and Durin and stuff. Hat Guy coming in was kind of interesting. I guess I feel like they didn't really need Hat Guy to be here, but I guess they wanted the story beat of Hat Guy seeing Dottore, or Dottore seeing Hat Guy for the first time after losing the memory. And now like we could theorize, like, oh, he's a god, he has like descender powers essentially, because they were saying the moons were created by a descender, and descenders are not affected by, or not recorded, or not remembered by Irminsul. So if he's like using moon powers, is he gonna somehow like figure out the exact, or the identity of Hat Guy, and like somehow like regain all his memories of like experimenting on him, trying to turn him into a god and whatnot? Because then he has this whole thing in Inazuma. Where is it? Oh no, it wasn't in Inazuma, it was in Sumeru. Like right here. This whole thing where he like turned him into a god. So he must remember all that experimenting and stuff, but what does he actually, how does he recollect that, right? Like somehow he removed himself, but like somehow Hat Guy removed himself from the memory, but he should remember he did, or I'm using like pronouns and I'm talking about multiple characters, so it's a little confusing. But yeah, the doctor must remember the whole thing that happened here, where he experimented on someone to turn them into a nascent god, right? But then he just doesn't remember who it is, or how does like everything play out? Because it's like the memories have changed, but like the stuff that happened hasn't changed, right? I think that's how they've established like everyone's memory of the, it's not like they physically like changed what happened like through the history or whatever, like changed the outcome of this stuff. It's just that everyone's memories of it has been altered. So like, are we gonna get into a point where the doctor is gonna be like, oh, I'm using this crazy moon powers and I'm remembering things now, and then we get like a crazy thing, a crazy like story beat there too. So that's kind of interesting. But then at the same time, I felt like maybe that could have been done later. We didn't really need Hat Guy here at this point. It would have worked just as well if Albedo and Durin was the one who come in and save her right there. And then we could have like a more epic reveal with Hat Guy and the Doctor. But I know I can see where they're going with it now that they finally see each other again. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like the story is like 20% good and like 80% there's like so much fluff to it. It just takes so long. And a lot of that I think could be like taken out or put into like world quests or story quests instead. And like they should really keep the Archon quest, I feel like, as lean and as to the point as possible. I feel like, but that's not what they're doing, unfortunately. There's just so much random stuff involved. Anyway, I'm gonna end things. Thanks for watching. We will continue in the next one. Okay, bye now.